Bueno, pues estamos aquí, tenemos el honor de tener a John F. Harris de la funeraria Cribb and Sons y queremos tener una pequeña charla con él para que nos explique un poco pues, sobre su funeraria, qué es lo que hacen, cómo trabajan en Inglaterra y bueno, pues John, it's a pleasure to be here with you.
Thank you.
We want to know more about your funeral home. Could you tell me something about your experience, about the history about your funeral home? What is the difference in Spain and in UK about the funeral service?
Right. My great-grandfather, Thomas Cribb, established the business back in 1881. He had 5 children. He had one daughter, Kitty, who married a Harris, hence the name change, which is why it's come down in the second generation as Harris rather than Cribb. But in saying that, we're very strong in the next generation. So my 3 children are in it, my brother's 2 children are in it. They make 5th generation. We're based in the East End of London, which was a very typical working class area, very traditional, very lavish funerals. I've been in the business over 50 years now. And when I started, it was still very much lots of flowers, lots of cars, spent a lot of money on... A funeral was just a big occasion. Where we were was a market, Rathbone Market. In that one street was 5 funeral directors, 5 undertakers. So if you imagine the whole of our borough, there was many funeral directors. As I sit here today, we're the last family funeral director left in that whole area. The whole profession has changed totally. All of our traditional market has gone. We've got a huge... The demographics have changed dramatically. So now our traditional business, the white English funeral, is just 13%. And our business now is with African, Caribbean, Hindu, Sikhs, just huge change.
Any culture.
So much so that 20 years ago, I went out to Ghana in West Africa and bought some ground and started a funeral home in that part of Africa. So, you know, I would say a big percentage of our work now is with the African population. And what we had to do then was think, well, where's our old traditional families gone that we'd dealt with for generations? They'd all gone, and for those that know, into Essex. So that's the countryside really more. Still quite built up, but to the East End of London, it was country. And so we purchased other funeral homes going out into Essex to keep in touch, because first generation will always come back. Second generation, you don't have that same relationship with. Third generation wouldn't know you. So we said, well, let's go down into Essex, open up funeral homes where... So we followed the people out, which has been reasonably successful. You know, well, it has been successful. So now we've got 24 offices and funeral homes.
In all the country?
That's just in England, in London and Essex. We've only got the one branch internationally in Ghana, although we have just purchased ground in Kenya. So that will give us a presence in East Africa as well.
Very nice.
Although, well, we're still very traditional. We're the only funeral director in the UK that still has all its own horses. So we do horse-drawn funerals. We do our renovation of our carriages ourselves. We have 23 working horses. Horse-drawn funerals, we do probably 7 to 8 a week. We have lorries which take the horses and vehicles, so we can travel to do work with other funeral directors. We do a lot of exhumations. My youngest daughter is a civil engineer by trade, so she heads up our exhumation business. So we've done some fairly big... We're at the moment on contract with HS2, which is the high-speed link from London to Birmingham. And from our point of view, the wonderful part about that project, it starts in a cemetery ends in a cemetery and goes through a cemetery. So we had to do some major work, you know. So we've, you know, I don't know. I would say so far we've had to move the remains of something like 60,000 people.
All right.
So they're big projects.
Okay.
HS2 has been running for
No.
about 4 years now. I mean, and I think it could easily go another 4. I think we're there till about July next year. So,
Okay. John,
yeah.
could you tell me something about culture? The culture about the service, how you do it in UK, and the big difference in here in Spain, for example. It's very similar, I think.
There are
not.
similarities and differences. And the reason that, you know, Andre now works with me, because we're dealing with so many different countries, I need people with language skills.
Yeah.
But also coming to somewhere like Spain, we went to Brazil. I'm going to America next week to the funeral exhibition there. It's always something to learn.
Yeah.
And some of the designs you have here, I've been speaking to car manufacturers, because in the UK, hearses have not changed.
No?
No, the vehicles change.
Here we never use it. Here is never
Well,
use it.
Well, the thing is, if you look at the hearses in the UK, the model changes because of the car, but the back of it is still the same.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you have, in my view, you have an old-fashioned design on a very modern vehicle. So I've now had vehicles made in Italy. I've just been speaking to manufacturers here, because with a modern vehicle, you need a modern design.
Yeah.
And families back home, I can see here in Spain, the same as the UK, the same in Brazil. Everybody wants something different, something unique.
Yeah.
There is a great place for tradition, and you know, we're a pretty traditional company in many respects.
Of course.
However, we've just had a hearse built in Italy on a Rolls-Royce Ghost. So that'll be the only one in the UK, and so quite unique. But you know, we believe there's a certain part. As I say, people are looking for something different. The other end of the scale, the one thing we all have in common from people that I've spoken to, not just Spain but Portugal, is not everybody has a lot of money. So you have to look. It's not always about looking for the best and selling the best. We built our funeral home in the UK to incorporate a service hall where we can have a service for the repatriation, but equally so, it's like a cremator as well. Well, a crematorium. The curtains come round, but we take the deceased the next day for cremation.
Yeah.
And it cuts the cremation costs by probably 80%. And you don't need a hearse, you don't need a limousine. So it does give someone a choice that if you don't have the funds, and unfortunately in the UK at the moment, we have this direct cremation.
No, absolutely.
Sorry?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and it's a problem. And it's not a problem because, yes, it's a problem, it takes work away from the funeral director. But I don't think, from a society's point of view, it's a good thing. I think we do need to mourn. We do need to say goodbye. You haven't got to spend a lot of money to do it, but I think you do need to do it. You know, mourning is a process. Losing someone is a process. And it's something you have to get over and get through. And I do think that a funeral, as I say, it doesn't matter, it doesn't have to be lavish. It's that part of saying goodbye. You know, funerals are for the living, and that's important. And I think by having our service hall, we can do the catering there as well. It's a great opportunity for people to just say that goodbye, but still have a service. I mean, all of these direct cremation things, you know, what do you do? We had a great politician once, Gladstone, back in the 1800s, and he actually said, this is not verbatim, but the nuts and bolts of what he was saying, you can judge a society by the way it treats its dead. And there's a lot to be said for that, because where we are in East London, the population is very diverse. You're not going to get an African, a Caribbean, a Sikh, a Hindu, a Chinese, pick a culture. You won't get them just saying, oh,
No.
just cremate the body.
Yes, exactly.
You know, they want to say goodbye. They want to, they know that that person is someone special. So I think that's important.
What do you think, John? What do you think is the most important moment in a service, in a funeral service, in your opinion?
The actual service itself. You see, as a funeral director, I think passionately about the hearse. I think passionately about the coffin. I think passionately about everything that we do, the embalming, the presentation of the body. But that service, that part in the cemetery, in the crematoria, in the church, that eulogy, you know, that's a point when everybody comes together as friends and family to pay their respects. I mean, there's other key moments. For example, you know, the embalming, the chapel, the presentation of the body. They come in, they need that last goodbye. When my mother passed away, it was important for us, it was a sudden death, to say goodbye, you know, and just say, you know, she wasn't somebody who wanted to be viewed, and she would have hated it. However, it was important to us. It's for the living. We needed to say goodbye. And so, you know, you bring that into your day-to-day work. You know how important that is. But I do feel it is this coming together, which you don't get with the direct promotion. It's very popular. I don't know if it's the same in Spain, but in the UK, we meet at funerals and weddings.
Yes.
And every time you meet at a funeral and wedding, you say, oh, the only time we meet at funerals and weddings. Well, weddings aren't as popular as they used to be.
Yeah.
And if you don't do funerals as well, when do we get together as an extended family and friends? So I don't think it's good for society, you know, but...
Of course. Totally agree. Which is very good. Pleasure to be here in Vivo Recuerdo, because, you know, for us, one of the most important moments of the service is how to say goodbye and a loved one. And we are working on that. So good to stay here in Spain. Thank you so much.
No,
and a
thank
pleasure.
you.
And a pleasure to be here in our podcast. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your time. Cheers. Thank you.